All right, this is SFBarkast. I am Jeff Cleary.
I am Andrew Lauder.
And Andrew, where are we today?
We are at Longitude.
Longitude in Oakland.
Longitude in Oakland. 14th and Webster.
We're venturing out.
We are, I guess.
Is this our first? No, I know this isn't our first. This is our fourth Oakland bar? You did one with Speegs.
Speegs at the layover and Joey Devine at the Nightlight.
But is it only two? So this is
I
the
think
third.
so. Yeah, I think this is the third.
Okay, well, hello, Oakland.
All right, Oakland.
And also, I'd like to say to Oakland, happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, which you would never when we first talked about throwing in a quick St. Patrick's Day barcast, one of my biggest concerns was are we going to be able to go somewhere that's not a total fuckfest?
Complete shit show, right. So that's when you said, let's go to Longitude. I got here a little early because I was like, I better get there early before people get off work and so I can get a good table.
Beat some people up for a seat, like a good Irishman.
I know what St. Patrick's Day is like. You know what? There's nobody here.
There is. And even the Yelp reviews of this place said it was really crowded. It just opened actually last year.
Now, do you think that is
August.
because the Longitude has a tiki bar sort of motif? Well, kind of tiki bar motif.
Yeah,
it's got more of like a safari motif.
Yeah,
as far as
I would
the
call
design.
It like Ernest Hemingway,
Dr. Livingston
meets Teddy Roosevelt meets the East India Tea Company.
Right, like if you were on safari and you were shooting some big games, Serengeti.
If you were beating up Gandhi, you might be living in a place like this.
Well, I don't know if that makes any sense, but if you're in the Serengeti and you're doing some big game hunting and you wanted to have like a hurricane swirl out of drinking it out of a coconut,
you're busy bringing Catholicism to the masses in Africa, and you're refreshed, parched, or you're parched after a long day of of destroying lives.
Nothing cuts through like the oppressive heat like a big cold zombie.
Right, like a total island drink. Where it's like, oh yeah, I'm in the middle of the Serengeti enjoying this, daiquiri.
And that's the thing. They do have this big sort of Polynesian drink menu,
right.
But the interior design here is very African.
Yeah, well, it's funny. A bar that we haven't done yet in San Francisco called the Smuggler's Cove, which is a great bar. But it also is the same sort of you have these almost tiki spin-off bars where the manager of Forbidden Island in Alameda started this place, and then the original manager I think of Forbidden Island started Smuggler's Cove. So that bar is sort of churning out these people, and but inevitably they sort of
they're like the Beatles of tiki bars.
Exactly.
And they broke up, and one of them was like, I'm going to go do wings. It's
I'm
going to go do the Serengeti bar.
It's like the Coach K of bars, where it's like, oh yeah, that guy used to play for Coach K. Now he coaches Missouri. Or
we had we had creative differences when we were doing our original Polynesian bar.
Well, exactly. Well, and the thing that's perfect about Forbidden Island in Alameda is that it completely sticks to the sort of Hawaiian tiki bar concept, and so it's a faithful recreation. Whereas this is a little more of it's like a fusion of influences, which ends up with kind of a strange thing going on with it.
It's always weird when you go to a place that has sort of a motif that you know nothing about. Where it's I know you've been to Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
I've never been to Hawaii,
really?
And I've never been to the Serengeti. So if someone said this is very authentic Serengeti.
You've never been to the Serengeti?
I would be like, well, I guess it is.
Right. Well, a lot of when I say a Hawaiian bar or tiki bar, at this point I don't think that tiki bars even exist in Hawaii anymore. It's this sort of throwback to 50s America when we're we can recreate your culture here. We don't need to go there, you asshole.
I think that nowadays the most authentic Hawaiian bar is a hotel lounge.
Most Hawaiian bar in the city is probably the Tonga Room, actually, which is sort of pricey and for tourists.
Doesn't Tonga? It's not Hawaiian, right?
No, I don't think. Yeah, the island of Tonga certainly.
It's Polynesia, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it's
Solomon Islands.
It's funny because when I worked at for a healthcare waste company in the Bronx and hung around with all the mechanics. Yeah, exactly, bragging. And but all the mechanics were either like Cuban or Puerto Rican or like from the rest of South America or and but like everybody hated the Cubans and like the Cubans hated everybody. And there's all these weird like
rivalries,
rivalries, and like all I can think like as a person of white privilege like standing there is like. It's all the same to me, guys. I don't know what you're fighting about.
Well,
it's like I don't know why you guys hate each other. You should be working together because you could you could completely like take us out of power anytime you want if you could like work with some Cubans.
Oh no, we're not willing to do that.
It's like the Ecuadorians are like, fuck the Bolivians. I'm not like moving in with them.
Well, that like harks back to our early guest, Nicole Calasich. She's Bolivian.
The pride of
Remember,
Bolivia.
she was saying that like there's all these like rivalries between the countries in South America,
right.
And she like really wants to like lean over to all of them and just be like, hey, I hate to tell you this, as soon as you get to America, you're all Mexican.
That's right. They're bone up on your fajitas recipe.
Nobody's gonna give a shit.
You're like, oh, but I'm from Chile. I don't know how to make Mexican food. Well, then you're unemployed.
But, I've actually heard that about Cubans, that like a lot of people in the Caribbean like hate the Cubans because they think they're better than everybody.
Right.
But I've also heard that about the Spanish. Like I've heard someone during a World Cup game, we were watching Spain play. This Latino guy standing next to me said, "Fuck Spain." He's like, they think they're better than all the other Latino countries. I'm like, let me just get my pen and write that down.
Well, it's funny because and maybe people think the same thing of Americans as well. Like the idea of like
they should think that because we are better than everyone.
Well, but people would say like, well, you don't even have your own language. You you speak English. And but it's the same thing with like everyone, everyone in Latin America. They're like, yeah, you're speaking our language. Like we basically sort of founded you as a country. Like so, I can imagine, there being like conflict there.
If someone told me you don't even have your own language, I'd say, we do have our own nuclear warheads. and they're pointed right at you.
And you pull down your pants and be like, "Sage."
It's funny that you mentioned language when we were talking about Spain.
Yeah.
That was one of my trivia questions at the Right Spot last month.
Yes.
Chinese Cantonese I can't remember.
Cantonese or Mandarin?
I forget which one. Which is the really popular one?
Mandarin, I think, is the most popular.
I think so. Mandarin is the number one spoken language in the world.
Okay.
What is number two?
Is it English?
It's Spanish.
Oh, it is Spanish. Okay, that makes sense.
So because it's just so many places that speak it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Like
they've got a word. They got a different word for everything over there.
I guess originally I was thinking like Hindu or something like that, but then like it's not like other countries outside of India speak Hindu, so like
Hindu I believe was like fourth. I think English was third. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good for English.
We're number 4. No, we're number 3.
All right.
So I was like doing a little. Speaking of exploring.
Yes.
Exploring not the Serengeti, but the men's room.
Well, we all explore in our own way.
Very similar. So I was in the men's room, and one of the things.
Put on your pith helmet, and your jodhpurs, and wandered into the.
If I don't come back, send a search party. So I was in the bathroom here, and I realized that in an effort to try to thwart graffiti,
right.
what they have is like chalkboards.
Yeah, I noticed actually. I noticed that I was surprised because sometimes you'll see a place just put up like a small chalkboard.
Yeah,
but they went whole hog. They went
it's all over.
Like it surrounds you.
Yeah, and so there's a bunch of chalk around there. You can write whatever you want on the walls. But and I understand maybe people don't want their bathrooms to be tagged up.
Sure, I guess.
But you know what you have now? Like one of the things I read on the wall, it said someone wrote 23 years of true love with my honey.
That's terrible.
And that is when we should reevaluate whether we want to have graffiti or like someone.
You realize, oh my God, what have we done?
Right.
we have, the pendulum has swung way too far in the other direction. We're screwed.
We didn't want some guy coming in here and tagging with pussy juice. But we really don't want someone talking about 23 years of true love with their honey.
Right. Exactly. When we spent the money to put up these chalkboards everywhere, we weren't hoping that Ned Flanders would stop by.
What if what if you had a graffiti artist who came in and just wrote stuff like "happiness comes from within"?
What an asshole! That guy would deserve to die, obviously.
Right, exactly. Bad graffiti artist.
So, speaking of Longitude, the name of this bar.
Oh, right.
Like, do you know what the problem of Longitude? Like, is actually
Longitude is which one?
Longitude is the up and down.
Okay.
So North Pole to South Pole lines.
Yeah, kind of like the. It's kind of like the. What do you call it? The time zones.
Yes, exactly.
You know, think of it like that.
Exactly.
Those lines.
Perfect. And that actually gives you a valuable clue into how to solve this problem, because up until the mid 1700s, I think, there wasn't really any decent way of, because I guess and this is all from my background as a geographer. Bragging. This is like one of the big problems that is brought up in geography is the longitudinal problem, because latitude is basically super easy to figure out, because all you have to do is look where the sun is, and you can figure it out that it's casting a shadow this way, or it's at this point in the sky, and so so you can figure out where you are from the equator, based on what time of the year and all that shit.
Right.
Whereas longitude, there is no equator, so you're just it's a totally arbitrary measurement. You don't have anything to look at on the horizon or on in the sun as far as figuring it out.
So before they figured this out, people would just look around and go, "We're fucked."
Exactly. And everybody would be like, "What do you mean by fucked?" And he'd be like, "Well, we're all going to die of scurvy in about 3 months." It's like, oh, that is fucked.
Well, define fucked. Well, would you define it as dying? Then yes.
No offense, Captain, but you've been saying that we're fucked since the day we left. Every single day.
Well, you should have listened to me, you assholes.
But so anyway, in the 1700s they had this big competition, every big brained idiot.
It was like the space race to find out where the fuck they were.
Exactly. But and they finally figured out that it's you can figure it out on the moon based on where the moon is in relation to the stars. You can do all kinds of computations and stuff based on that.
What?
Or if you just had a watch. Which, of course, they didn't have back then, or a clock that worked at sea, which they also didn't have back then.
What about a timepiece?
Timepiece clock.
No, I mean
clock.
one of those Days of Our Lives timepiece.
Oh, okay. Sands going through it. Yeah, it's probably actually that might work. You probably could have qualified for a prize.
I think I missed my calling.
Yeah, exactly.
I should have been born in the 1700s with one leg.
Why don't you guys use an iPhone? But so yeah, the big solution turned out to be being able to tell time, and because the original method was called dead reckoning, where you just you start out where you are to begin with, and then you say I'm going to take 10 steps exactly west, and but the thing is with a boat that's not really that accurate
because of the speed.
Well, yeah, because you don't really, currents maybe pushing you one direction,
right?
Wind might, it's pretty hard to, measure exactly where you're going in a boat, especially if you're an idiot in the 1700s.
Let me ask you,
wearing some stupid 3-cornered hat.
Were there any giant squid involved in this equation?
You mean krakens, of course.
Krakens, right? who were released.
Well, right. According to Liam Neeson. They were released. The Krakens. So anyway, that's the problem of longitude in a nutshell.
But
you just got yourself a San Francisco State University geography education in 5 minutes.
And I'm going to get an F because I wasn't listening.
Well, it's about all it's worth.
So how about that? That was the problem with longitude, the real thing.
Real problem. What's the problem with this place? Is that your next question?
That was my segue. No, what's up with this place?
What is up with this place?
What is the neighborhood we're in? Do you know? Are we in Chinatown in Oakland?
It's kind of a weird, almost not valley, but because you've got sort of the downtown business area of Broadway, where the BART goes and all that stuff. And then you've got between here and Lake Merritt, which is Like if you go just south of here, it's Chinatown for sure. But if you're
Chinatown. Don't worry, Jake. It's Chinatown.
But it's almost a weird sort of no man's land in a weird way because it's not. It doesn't really belong to. I mean, maybe there is a name for it, but it certainly has kept the people away on this St. Patrick's Day. Apart from, I guess, in addition to this not being an Irish bar of any sort.
I mean, yes, I understand it's not an Irish bar, but I really thought this place was going to be packed after everybody got off work. I mean, you and I both lived in New York, and every bar, one of the great things about New York City is that you don't have to worry about all the bars being packed because there's so many bars, right?
True, yeah.
But on St. Patrick's Day,
they're all
packed,
right?
With kind of the same drunken assholes,
right. It's if
you go down to
flashbacks, right? Yeah, every bar you go to, it's like that. Those are the same people that were at the last bar.
I remember going down to McSorley's. Did you ever go to McSorley's?
Oh yeah, Jesus, yeah.
That was a cop bar, and so on St. Patrick's Day, it's just a regular Irish bar, Irish cop bar.
Right.
Then on St. Patrick's Day, it's like super Irish cop bar.
I just remember that because that place is essentially never closed, right? It's open 24 hours or something, and
people needed their alcohol.
Well, but it's they just instead of cleaning the place, I think they just throw sawdust everywhere. So the whole bottom of the bar is covered in this puke smelling sawdust.
Maybe
the whole place just smells like barf.
Maybe they have the Irish firemen come down, just hose it down once a year.
That's right. It's turn on the high pressure fire hydrant right into the place.
Then they have the people playing the bagpipes for all the all the trash they're just throwing into the street.
Yeah, perfect. Christ.
Oh, you want to take a break?
Yeah, let's take a quick break and continue
and wrap this up. All right, now we'll be back from Longitude in Oakland. And we are back at Longitude in Oakland. Longitude. Now, Andrew, for some of our listeners know that I'm about to leave town. Not court-ordered this time.
Exactly.
Because I am going to Reno.
Right.
For the college basketball tournament. And I'm really excited to go to Reno, which no one's ever said before.
Right.
And I'm going for the college basketball tournament because I'm going to go to the sports book and just print money.
There we go.
And by the time I leave Reno, there's going to be money with my face on it.
So, of course, it will be fake money that you will be using to buy smokes in prison.
Don't get bogged down in the details.
Right. Well, let's go. Okay. I know that listeners are dying to hear.
So here we go.
Our picks. And you haven't even made your picks.
I have not made my picks.
And so this is a great opportunity, we'll rifle through these, and you have to pick one on the spot, no hesitation, just just gut. This is
the process and work.
There we
go. All right.
go.
So why don't we go? Why don't you start?
All right. We'll start in the Midwest, in Cleveland, Ohio. Kentucky versus either Hampton or Manhattan.
Kentucky.
University of Cincinnati versus Purdue University.
I'm going to go Purdue.
West Virginia versus Buffalo.
I'm taking Buffalo.
Ooh.
I'm taking Buffalo.
12/5.
I'm taking Buffalo because Bobby Hurley is the coach of Buffalo.
And fuck the Mountaineers and Amanda Hug and Kiss. All right. Maryland versus Valparaiso.
Ooh, I'm going to Maryland.
All right. Butler versus Texas.
I am going to take Butler.
There we go. I know normally that's a 6-11 matchup, but I'm still getting used to Butler being a dominant team. Notre Dame versus Northeastern.
I'm going to take ND, although I would love to have taken Northeastern because Reggie Lewis played there. But I'm also not going to take Northeastern because Reggie Lewis played there, and they'll probably all die. Bam.
There we go. That is, as someone from Massachusetts, is that a tough one? Northeastern Notre Dame, that's
absolutely
all Boston.
I would love to take. Like I said, I would love to take Northeastern. I think my dad got some degree from Northeastern. Some typewriting degree.
One of those Bill Cosby honorary degrees for date raping women.
Well, that wasn't what it was for, but God.
All right, let's not get distracted. Wichita State against Indiana.
I'm going Wichita State.
Ooh.
Because of the Wichita linesman.
There we go. Kansas versus New Mexico State, the Lobos.
KU.
All right, screw you, Lobos. Wisconsin versus Coastal Carolina.
Wisconsin.
Amazing.
Scotty.
I watched Wisconsin play last week. They're pretty impressive.
Yeah, they are.
Oregon versus Oklahoma State.
I'm taking Oregon because I know I don't know anything about Oregon, but I know a lot of people who went there.
Okay, good reasoning. Arkansas versus Wofford.
I'll take Wofford.
Wow, Wofford 12/5. Screw you, Razorbacks. North Carolina against Harvard.
Oh, UNC.
UNC, all right. No love for friend of the show, Lisa.
Yeah, no love for the Crimson.
All right. Do you think she'll go straight money line on that game?
She said she was.
Oh.
She told me she's going to go money line on that game.
Did she?
I was like, why would you go money line? Take the points.
2 years ago, did Harvard win their first round game?
Oh, I think they did. Yeah. She went to the game. I actually asked her if she was going to go down to Jacksonville to watch this game. She's like, no.
It's like no amount of school pride will get me to Northern Florida. Xavier, Ohio against either BYU or Ole Miss.
I am going to take BYU.
Ooh, BYU. Very good. Baylor against Georgia State.
Oh, I would love to take Georgia State because remember that guy Kevin Ware who snapped his leg on national television?
Yeah.
He plays for Georgia State now.
He does?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
I'm going to take Baylor.
I didn't even know there was a Georgia State.
Yeah.
I know there's a state of Georgia. But. All right. VCU, Virginia Commonwealth, against the Ohio State Buckeyes.
I'll take the Buckeyes.
Ooh. Who's that little...
Shaka Smart?
Mexican-looking midget.
Who plays for who?
No, the coach of Virginia Commonwealth.
Oh, that's Shaka Smart.
That is Shaka. Okay, all right. He looks like a little tiny guy.
Okay.
Sorry, Arizona against Texas Southern.
Arizona. Good for Chad Lehrman.
Good for Chad Lehrman and my wife Terry's friend John, whose last name escapes me.
You guys are good friends.
Who's from Pittsburgh. Villanova against Lafayette.
I'll take Nova.
Of course. NC State against Louisiana State University.
I'll take NC State.
Nice. Northern Iowa against Wyoming Cowboys.
Northern Iowa.
Louisville against the Anteaters of UC Irvine.
Now, see, here's one. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts about who people are picking, and a lot of people are taking UC Irvine Anteaters to beat Louisville. I will eat my fucking hat if that happens.
I will eat ants.
Louisville.
Yeah, I can't imagine that being the case. I think Louisville's that classic team that everyone's they're just big thugs. They won't know what to do when they're confused by those eggheads at UC Irvine.
Right, exactly. And they've got 3 pros on that team. People are just I think they'll get outsmarted. I'm like, I think in this isn't this isn't an after school special. Come on.
All right, Providence against Boise State or Dayton.
My dad would kill me if I didn't pick Providence, so I'm going to pick for the Friars of Providence.
All right, screw you, Boise State Broncos or Dayton Flyers.
Supposedly Boise State's supposed to be really good.
What, really?
Yeah.
Do they play on a blue court? They should. Right?
I think that they should, wouldn't they?
I mean, something interesting's got to happen in that stupid city.
All right, here we go.
Oklahoma against Albany.
I'll take Oklahoma. Albany. Is that where Kornheiser went? No, he went to Binghamton.
Binghamton, you're right.
Oklahoma.
Michigan State against Georgia.
I'll take MSU.
There we go. Virginia against Belmont.
Ooh, I would love to take Belmont, but I'm going to take the Cavaliers of Virginia.
The Belmont Stakes. Wait, is Belmont's not in Long Island or anything, is it?
I think the Belmont is in Maryland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Preakness is in. Yeah, Belmont's in Maryland. The Preakness is in New York.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of the Preakness. All right. There we go. Duke against either Northern Florida or Robert Morris. How many play-in games are there? Jesus Christ.
I got Duke.
Okay. San Diego State Aztecs against the St. John's Red Storm.
The Johnnies. I'm going to take the San Diego State.
Ooh. Utah against Stephen F. Austin or.
I'm going to tell you, Andrew, the F stands for fucking, so I'm taking Stephen fucking Austin.
Stephen fucking Tyler University. Wow, over the Utes.
Yep.
All right. Georgetown against Eastern Washington.
I am taking Eastern Washington.
Wow. Screw you, Hoyas.
Yeah, I know. It pains me, too, because I love the Hoyas, but, you know.
All right, next is the Larry Brown-coached Southern Methodist University against UCLA.
I'm taking Southern Methodist because I love Ernest Dickerson, Eric Dickerson, and Craig James.
Ah, nice. All right, and Iowa State against University of Alabama at Birmingham.
You know, I'm going to take UAB. This is one of those games where it's like, you know what? Why not?
Yeah.
Iowa State, like, they're supposed to be good, but, like, they're going to get, like, crushed in the next round anyway.
Was
UAB.
Tim Floyd the coach at Iowa State?
He was when he coached Kelvin Cato and Dredrick Willoughby.
And then went on to a great career with the Chicago Bulls.
And just got his ass handed to him. Iowa and Davidson.
Iowa Davidson.
You know what? I'm gonna go Davidson.
Davidson. Stephen Curry's alma mater, right?
Yeah. You know what? And actually, and I just realized I did not pick Iowa, and I did not pick Iowa State. So no love for Iowa for me.
Screw you, corn farmers. Gonzaga against North Dakota State.
I will take the Zags.
The Zags. All right.
So.
All right. Now you'll have to Oh, okay. You can. Oh, perfect. There we go. All right. Brilliant. I was going to say that you should take over.
So now you read them.
And you switched it with me, and I don't even need to say this. So, Kent versus Purdue, second round.
Kentucky.
Kent. Kent State. How did they get in here? Buffalo against Maryland.
Buffalo.
Butler against Notre Dame.
ND.
Wichita State against Kansas.
Kansas.
Wisconsin against Oregon.
Wisconsin against Oregon. Wisconsin.
Wofford against UNC.
UNC.
Brigham Young against Baylor.
Did I really take Brigham Young?
just over Xavier.
We'll take Baylor.
Ohio State against Zona.
Arizona.
All right. Villanova against North Carolina State.
Villanova against North Carolina State. Nova.
Nice. Northern Iowa against Louisville.
Northern Iowa.
Providence against Oklahoma.
Oh, by the way, I did take an Iowa team to go far. Northern Iowa.
Oh, there we go, yeah.
So there you go. Sorry. Providence against who?
Providence against Oklahoma.
I'm going to take Providence because what the fuck.
All right. Friars. MSU against Virginia. Michigan State, sorry.
I'm going to take Michigan State.
Ooh.
And I'm taking Michigan State because I know Drew Harmon will love it when his team does very well.
Plus, you love Tom Frank Izzo.
T to the Izzo.
IZZO. Duke against San Diego State.
I'm going to take Duke.
Nice. Stephen F. Austin against Eastern Washington.
I'm going to take
Jesus Christ.
Stephen F. Austin.
Wow. Sweet 16 bound. Stephen F. Austin University.
The F is fucking.
SMU against UCLA. I'm sorry, SMU against UAB.
SMU.
And finally, Davidson against Gonzaga.
Gonzaga.
There we go. All right. Switch back, and then we go to the Elite Eight. God, this is exciting.
We're almost done.
I hope everyone's wrapped attention as much as I am. Kentucky against Buffalo.
Kentucky.
Notre Dame against Kansas.
ND.
Wisconsin against North Carolina.
Wisconsin.
All right. Baylor against Arizona.
Arizona.
Villanova against Northern Iowa.
Ooh.
This is where Iowa's love really comes to an end.
Yeah, this is going to be hard. I know, like some people have picked Northern Iowa to go all the way. I'm going to take Villanova.
Yeah, that seems crazy. Providence against Michigan State.
Michigan State.
Duke against Stephen F. Collins.
Duke. I picked Bill Duke to beat Stephen
Jackson.
Stephen Jackson.
And Southern Methodist against Gonzaga.
I'm going to take SMU.
Ooh.
Take that, Gonzaga.
All right. Now.
We got right down to this is the real.
Final 8? Is this where
These
we're
are
at?
the 8?
Yeah.
This
Elite
is the 4.
8. All right. Kentucky and Notre Dame.
Kentucky.
Oh, Notre Dame. Sorry. Wisconsin against Arizona. A 1 and a 2.
Or I'm going to take Wisconsin.
Villanova and Michigan State, 1 against the 7.
Villanova and Michigan State. I will take Michigan State.
Nice. And finally, Duke against Southern Methodist.
Let's take Duke.
1-6.
Dude,
Right.
now I'm looking. I don't have a whole lot of I took Michigan State, which is a 7 seed, and everybody else are 1 seeds. I would love to take Arizona, but I've seen Wisconsin play too much this year.
Yeah, it's not. It's tempting to go all long shots, but that's never how it works out. So.
I feel like if you have one long shot, that should be enough.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Final Four: Kentucky, Wisconsin,
Kentucky,
Michigan State against Duke.
Michigan State against Duke. We'll take Duke. And the final game, I have Kentucky winning it all. Surprise,
all right.
Surprise.
Well, and surprise, surprise, I won't torture anybody by...
Now let's do yours.
Exactly. But I will say that my Final Four is Kentucky, Arizona, Virginia, and Gonzaga.
Oh, good. You had a little bit more.
And I have Kentucky beating I think Virginia in the final as well. So, and the only sort of mid-range upsets I have Louisville and Georgetown going pretty far.
You have Kentucky beating Virginia in the final?
Yes.
Wow, that actually would be a really good game. Although, because it's just a complete clash of styles. Virginia likes to slow the ball down and then keep the score down to about the 50, between 45 and 60.
Right.
And Kentucky just wants to dunk the ball off their eyebrows.
Well, the only thing I know really about Virginia is that there are rapists that go to college there, and so that's why I want to.
You're an investigative journalist, aren't you?
I
thought you picked them because of Ralph Sampson.
Well, that too, of course.
And Brian Stith.
Stith. Damn you, Stith.
Are you ready to take? Oh wait, do you have any? Oh, we have another.
You know what? As long as we're talking sports, we'd be remiss if we didn't acknowledge the World Cup that is being played right now in the sport of cricket.
Oh, I thought you were going to say rugby.
I thought you were going to say something anybody cares about.
Oh yes, you're going to give me the googly report.
That's right. So I guess they're down to the final 8 at this point, and.
Who are the 8?
Well, it's pretty amazing. I mean, you've got Australia and New Zealand who are hosting it, and they're both still in it. And they're sort of bitter rivals or whatever. And actually, they're also rivals with South Africa that are still in it.
Why are they rivals with South Africa?
I think because
they're all white.
Well, because they're British colonies south of the equator. Yeah, like on the southern half of the globe. I don't know. I know that they in rugby they always play each other, and it's a big deal.
Well, because it's the fight for the southern hemisphere. It's just
Exactly.
fighting over some trash.
Pretty much. But then you've also got India and Pakistan and Bangladesh and Sri Lanka and so you've got the entire Indian subcontinent that wants to go to war, and then these friendly people from Australia and New Zealand that are this is fun, isn't it?
I would I don't know anything about cricket, but I think I would watch an India-Pakistan game.
Oh, I know.
It'd be
so much fucking pressure, right?
There's so much on the it's not about cricket, people.
Right. It's oh, if this game goes just the right way, there'll be a nuclear war that destroys the entire region.
Oh yes.
That's always fun. So shout out to the Cricket World Cup.
What do you say for cricket? What do you call cricketers? Are they batsmen or pitchers or
assholes?
Great, awesome. Hopefully, we'll know more next time we come back and give your full cricket report.
I think it still goes on for a couple weeks, and that's probably just the next game that's being played. So.
I know cricket games can last for 3 days, right?
Something like that. I think these ones are streamlined to last somewhat shorter, but it's still 5 or 6 hours, and it's the score is 820 to 720.
The funny thing about that is, there's some old cricket fans who are hey, it was better in my day when it went for a whole weekend.
Well, that's the funny thing is that I'm pretty sure that that England like created the whole game, and like
thanks a lot, England.
And then like, basically all of their colonies are like, yeah, fuck you, we're better at it now. So like yeah. Like I wonder how that makes like all these like old cricket fans in England feel that like they're like knocked out right away, and like India like kicks their ass every time now.
Well, didn't basketball was invented in like Western Mass? Now it's like
like a Western Mass.
No,
it's a fucking shithole. It's just like nothing but John Freitas in the Basketball Hall of Fame.
It looks like a backed up toilet in a fucking bus station.
That's right. As soon as you get out of Worcester, it's fucking nothing but garbage till you hit the New York State border.
Our apologies to Western Massachusetts.
Yeah, it's always fun to make fun of people we know.
And did you have another installation of your sports report?
Oh, I think I just wanted to say that
Cricket's great.
Like the NBA is is really entertaining this year.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like it's amazing how many fun players there are to watch in the league now. Like,
actually,
I didn't even know we were in sort of like a glut or sort of a low period for these crazy athletic superstars. But now it's it seems like all the really good teams have 2 or 3 ridiculous players on them.
It is. I've actually talked to a couple people who are big basketball fans. I told them yeah, I'm going to Reno to bet on the tournament. They were like, why would you do that? They were like college basketball is so boring now, and pro ball is just so entertaining. I was like, there's a niceness about it.
Well, I think that I still don't think that there's the comeback potential in the NBA that there is in college. A team can fall apart in college, and that just never happens in the NBA because there's way too many professionals that'll stop it from happening.
Yeah. I agree with that. But also, one of the things I like the fact that in college, there are these programs that can have these they can blossom, and they'd be great for 4 years, and then they all go on probation because they had some scumbag running it. But it's
because everybody was on eating HGH by the pound.
Well, it's look at college football. There's only a handful of teams that can win it all.
Yeah,
and all the other teams are just fucking fooling themselves.
Right.
And every once in a while you have a team Oregon's been good for a while, but a team like Boise State that makes kind of a noise, but really they're not gonna win it all.
Right.
Whereas in college basketball, remember UNLV was huge one year. Fucking UMass was great one year. Butler was great 1 year. So it's the Butler was great for a few years, and so you have these programs that could jump up and contend.
That's the team where the Celtics coach came from, right?
Yeah,
Butler, yeah. That guy's turning out to be a great coach.
The Celtics could they could be the last team into the playoffs.
They're in the playoffs if the season ended today. I think aren't they?
I don't know. They're tied for the 8th spot. I don't know what the tiebreaker would be. Yeah. I mean, considering that they had a fire sale and got rid of everybody.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, the fact that they somehow turned Jeff Green and Rondo into a playoff team by just dumping them and picking up Isaiah Thomas, who's great.
And the fact that they have Kelly Olynyk, who is a fucking waste of space, who is a Gonzaga waste of space on the team.
He's a less talented Chris Kaman at this point.
Jesus Christ. Send that hippie back to Vancouver.
Bring back Greg Kite.
All right, you ready to take a break?
Sure, now we can take a break.
All right, this is SFBarkast. We're at Longitude. We'll be back. All right, and we are back at Longitude in Oakland.
Longitude in Oakland.
In Oakland. Andrew, how do we wrap up a St. Patrick's Day special episode?
Well, I want to say that and it can be debated whether or not this is because of us and because of you in particular. I think we're the main champion of this issue. But I read that there's a bar a few blocks away from here called Drexel, Drexl.
Named after the Philadelphia school?
No, Clyde Drexler. But
they don't spell it right?
Yeah. No, Drexel Bar, according to Yelp anyway, or according to a review on Yelp, has instituted what's called a fast track at the bar for people ordering beer and wine.
Oh, my God. I thought you were going to say they are the first bar to come out of the closet and say they will never use bullshit pints.
Well, it's almost as good.
Almost as good.
But yeah, apparently they have an express line, an easy pass, if you will.
Wow, that's great.
You can flash your beer drinking badge and cut in front of some skinny jeans wearing asshole.
So my only other question,
So
my only question is, why aren't we there?
It's a good question, actually. I think that they might open later, and also it's a little bit more of a walk for me, and I hurt my foot because I am old.
You're falling apart here, man.
I know, yeah, like every other week. Like,
Are your bones like made of crackers?
I think so. Like I am Samuel Jackson in was it Unbreakable?
Unbreakable.
Is it Unbreakable?
It's Unbreakable.
That's not the same movie that Angelina Jolie just made, right?
No. Oh, that's yeah. I think it is called Unbreakable.
What the hell?
I don't care.
See, they're like, hey, M. Night Shyamalan already made that movie, and Angelina Jolie's like,
She's like, don't worry.
Who's M. Night Shyamalan?
She's like, don't worry. This one sucks as much as that movie.
All right.
I like to call the M. Night Shyamalan movie not Unbreakable, but Unwatchable.
The stink sense. That's mine.
We can just keep doing this.
The Village, more like the shittage. Yeah, it's not even clever.
The lady in the shitty movie theater.
Yeah, you got that right.
All right. So, do you want to do any plugs?
Let's see. Actually, why don't you start?
I have one plug.
Yeah.
I have basically took the plunge. And because of the headlines, I went and watched all 6 episodes of The Jinx.
Oh, my
God.
God.
It is good. Like, I can totally see if somebody starts watching The Jinx on HBO, the documentary about the real estate heir who is basically implicated in 3 different murders,
right,
but not convicted. I can totally see if somebody just starts watching The Jinx and going like, I don't really give a fuck about this old guy. But if you stick with it, it is really compelling, and actually, like the end of it is insane because, like this old guy who feels
Spoiler alert! Oh no, wait.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you didn't spoil anything.
Yeah, I haven't spoiled anything. He's old. Yeah, I'm sorry. Spoiler alert. He's old.
I thought it was about not aging.
So basically, this old guy contacts this filmmaker and says, like, I've never given an interview. Like, there's been all this, like, talk about, like, what I did or didn't do. And so I want to do an interview and kind of tell my side of the story. And so the filmmaker's like, oh, yeah, this is great. Like, the same filmmaker who did, like, is it Capturing the Freedmans or Meet the Freedmans?
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's a really good
Capturing the Freedmans, right?
Capturing the Freedmans. And so he's like, okay, yeah, I'll do this. And then, like, the fucking... like semi-spoiler alert, like basically, like the more research this guy did on this dude, the more guilty the guy looked.
Right.
So, like, towards the end of, like, the thing, they're just like, we think we may have some crime, like, evidence that we need to turn over to, like, to the authorities.
Right.
And wouldn't you know it, right after the movie came out, like the guy got arrested again.
Well, so this is like the question that I ask. I mean, like, granted, I haven't seen it. I have very limited knowledge of what it's even about. But like, it's certainly like it's not stinks, but like to some extent, you're like, well, wait a minute, like, did they orchestrate this? Like, like the guy was like arrested the day after the finale. Like, it was just
they
was,
definitely
perfect timing.
They definitely scheduled it. Like, I mean.
Yeah. But it's like, is that ethical then? Like, did they hold on to this information and be like the day before the finale, they're like, oh, by the way, cops, here's all of our stuff, like, we've been hanging on to for 6 months?
Right, yeah, they're like, hey, you know what, this guy could go to jail, and if you want to find out if he does, tune in next week.
Yeah, exactly.
But, like, my first reaction is, like, when people are saying, like, oh, yeah, well, they uncovered some evidence that, like, was kind of incriminating, like, my first reaction is like, well, where the fuck were the cops?
Yeah, exactly,
why weren't they doing their job way back in the day?
Why does Hollywood have to come in and sweep up your mess, cops?
Well, it's the same thing with, like, Serial, although I don't agree with, like, the whole Serial thing. It's like the guy who's the subject matter of the podcast Serial, he's having, like, a new trial because of, like, basically this NPR show.
Yeah. Well, and everybody that's listening to Serial seems to think like, yeah, the guy's probably guilty.
Yeah. If you listen to, I mean, like, I think he could get off.
Yeah.
Because all you would have to do is convince, like, one juror
right.
of like reasonable doubt. But
so do you think that, I mean, like, given like the massive popularity of Serial and now the massive popularity of this, like, the Jinx thing, like, and like the sort of common thread being like that, oh, it's something that's really happening and like it's ongoing and like will this lead to like people essentially trying to create a storyline, like by withholding information and like totally exonerating somebody, but holding that information until just the right time. Like,
well, it is kind of weird
in the television season versus like what's good for the guy. Like,
well, it's like when you. Yeah, exactly. There is like an ethical like issue here,
Oh, yeah,
where it's like
like,
this
it's
guy's like
crazy,
paying
like-
you to make a documentary about him,
and
and
you
you're
fucked him.
and you're gonna send him to fucking jail.
It's like, really? Like, this is what I get for my investment?
So I would like a refund.
Like, oh, so the thing's a big success. What do I get? Like a percentage? No, you get to go to jail.
Well, but also like there's a side of me when I was watching the Jinx that I was like thinking that why would this guy do this? Like, and I think he just has this sort of like very typical psychopathic mind where like, if like for a lot of like serial killers, part of like their whole plan is getting caught and getting the notoriety.
Right.
And like this guy got off scot-free on like basically 3 murders.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I want someone to make a documentary about me for HBO. It's like you start to think, like, hey, you know what? Maybe.
You know what? I'm a national hero. Somebody should make movies about me.
Nobody's appreciating all of my work I've done.
They all just forgot me after I was found innocent. Well, that's not fair. I'm a celebrity.
Yeah, so like you never know. I mean, like, and still like he's currently arrested. They haven't like
Right.
proved him guilty of anything, and he's got like a shit ton of money.
Season 2.
So who knows? Yeah, like he could they could come back with a season 2.
What if what if the entire like justice system just gets turned into a reality show? I'm sure someone's done this. Like,
Yeah, it's
at
on
the
that
very
mo-
least, like some stoner has thought of this.
It was in that movie Idiocracy, or did I say movie? I meant documentary.
It was in that documentary called the Hunger Games.
Yeah, the movie Idiocracy, which initially it looked like it was a
Fantastical farce.
It was just like a comedy about the future, and it turns out the people who made it were futurists.
Right. Well, it turns out the people that made it weren't imaginative enough, and like we'll reach that like 10 years ahead of schedule and like surpass it like 50 times.
Although I will vote for Terry Crews for president.
Damn right you will.
In any election. Do you have any plugs?
West Virginia represent.
He's from West Virginia.
No, that was from Terry Crews addressing the state of the nation. President Camacho. Let's see. Actually, strangely, somewhat related, I guess, to this sort of idea of the press, like invading in the lives. I saw the movie Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal.
I haven't watched it yet, but I have it at my place.
Pretty fascinating. Pretty
really?
Pretty like maybe a little like sort of insider LA like TMZ kind of like stuff.
Isn't
but at the same time like there's a real kind of hard edge to it. Like
isn't it? It doesn't take place in the future. I mean, in the present tense, does it?
It does. No, it takes place in the present. But it's
okay.
I mean, it's just sort of like LA underbelly kind of stuff. Like,
I thought it was like based on that like photographer Ouija who went around LA like taking pictures of crime scenes and shit like that.
Well,
am I completely wrong on that?
No, I don't think you are. No, like it's very close. Although this might sort of like tweak it in a different direction or something like that. But yeah, but it is like it's crime scene like like first responders like in the press or whatever, like where it's like and they're constantly fighting, it's so weird because like what's his name? Paxton is in
Bill
the
Paxton.
Movie. Bill Paxton is
not
in
Bill
the movie.
Pullman.
Not Bill Pullman. Absolutely not Bill Pullman. But Paxton's in the movie, and it's so weird that like because he's playing like this sort of dumb redneck guy driving a truck chasing news stories.
So
and it's the exact same character from like Twister.
Oh
where he's just like and like his whole career was like playing that guy, and then like a totally different role in Big Love, and now he's back to playing that guy. It's like
at some point in the movie does he say, "Game over, man, we're fucked"?
Game over, Swiss cheese, dude. It's like, what?
Well, there's like another one. Like supposedly Neil Blomkamp is going to do the reboot of Aliens Aliens.
Director of Chappie.
Dude, what a fucking horrible idea.
It's such a bad name. Like I'm sure it's going to be a fun movie, or at the very least a South African tale about robots, which is all he does, I guess. It would be nice. He really should branch out a little bit. Like
the producers will probably we don't really like this idea, the name of the movie called Chappie. He's like, don't worry, we have Antwoord in it.
Fine.
Don't know what that means, but okay. It's probably some new software.
That's right. That must be how South Africans say box office gold.
Any other?
Everyone should search Otto von Schirach, Schirach, a video called Superman featuring Blowfly, which I sent to you.
Superman.
So if you take one message away from this entire St. Patrick's Day, it's that.
It's that. And so let's go to final analysis. Andrew, what is your final analysis, Phil Joannou, of this bar?
You know what? It's interesting. I really want to like the concept.
Pause.
I want to like the concept, and I do a little bit, but I don't think it's the right bar for the area, and I don't, and it's not unique enough to where it's going to like really make a statement. It's just it's a weird mishmash. It's almost like a elephant bar mixed with like a regular bar, like a chain restaurant, but slightly cheaper or something like that. But I don't know. Like I say, I want to like it, but more than I do.
Well, let me say that I am woefully disappointed, and not because of the bar, but because nobody showed up for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, no shit.
It's like my birthday all over again. But I do like the interior of the bar, and I think if I was down here, I would come to this bar again.
Right.
If I was dressed with a pith helmet and
Next time you're wearing jodhpurs and
Next time you have looked at your
an elephant gun.
Next time you look at your account balance and you realize I don't have enough to go on safari, you can just come down here,
right,
and just drink all your problems away.
It does make me wonder though if because I work with people of Indian heritage.
Gross.
I know. I wear gloves. But it does make me wonder that if you took them to a place like this, which is very does have sort of a colonial England India kind of vibe, would that make them uncomfortable? Where it feels like you're sort of walking back into hello, Mr. Gandhi,
who would this interior design make really comfortable? It's oh yeah, oh yeah. Do you remember when we colonized that country? Awesome.
Remember being Franklin Roosevelt?
Yeah, whatever. I mean, it's I don't. It's one of these things where I feel I'm not down here a lot, so I don't have to come back. I do like this bar. The thing is, it's just really confusing because I had the shepherd's pie, which is an Irish dish,
right? And
it has a safari decor. So
right.
I'm just
is it island? Is it Irish? Is it English? Is it
I don't know if I don't
Cuban?
know. I can't think straight here.
African?
Don't confuse me with so many cultures.
Yeah, exactly. They just need to put up an old Soviet flag or something just to fuck everybody. I just went, what?
Would you like to try our Afghanistan food?
What? Hey, look at a framed picture of Bjork.
Ooh, yes.
This makes no sense at all.
Yeah, so I think I don't dislike this bar, but
yeah.
I wouldn't. It wouldn't be one of my.
I know. I feel the same way.
Although it would be a destination if I was down here and every other bar was full.
Yeah,
because
you know what?
It's plenty of room here.
If our other alternative was going to a bar on Broadway in Oakland that would have been chock full of douche, as they say, then you know what? This served nicely.
So I'm going to give it I don't know, C+.
C+?
Somewhere around there.
I'm going to give it 2.5 stars.
I also want to say one more thing. Although, so people understand that 2.5 stars is the worst star that he can give.
Oh, yeah. No, actually, it's 2.5 out of 2 3/4 stars.
Oh, okay. So last thing I want to say is I want you to wish me luck while I am going to Reno.
I don't need to.
Yeah, you don't need to, because you know what? Winners make their own luck.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I mean, do I wish you luck every time you take a breath or, like, you know, like blink your eyes? No, it's going to happen naturally.
And I was like I'm going to Reno with a friend of the show, Kevin Montgomery, and we are going to do a episode in Reno.
All right. Oh, and this is how you tell me?
Oh, yeah, you're out.
Damn it. God, what a way to find out.
And so we were getting ready for the trip, and we were like talking about what we're going to do there, and it's like we're going to be there for 5 days. So he's like, yeah, you know what? Like, it's Reno. It's like up in the Sierras. So I wonder if there's a way we can bring our bicycles up there, because we do some, like, you know, mountain biking and stuff.
Right.
And I said, absolutely not. We're not doing that. And I was like thinking, no, we're going to be doing gambling enough. But then I thought about it. I was like, no, we're not bringing our bikes because I don't want to have to sell my bike in Reno.
Like, well, in Reno, it's worth $20. It's like, what?
The only way would be like if we would bring our bikes is if we would sell the rental car and then ride back.
Exactly.
And then at some point we'll probably realize we'd have to sell the bikes as well and walk back.
At some point you need something to trade for mannequins to push over the cliff in the car so everybody thinks you're dead.
So wish us luck, and I also wish Kentucky and Duke luck.
Indeed. And for me, Kentucky and Virginia.
All right, sounds good. All right, so we're going to sign off, and we'll see you next time. I am Jeff Cleary.
I am Andrew Louder.
And this is SF Barkast signing off from Longitude.